Happy New Year, friend. It's Valerie, and welcome back to the first episode of 2025. I have a question for you. What are you holding on to that's keeping you stuck? Maybe it's self doubt. Maybe it's the idea that you'll fit into those jeans from 20 years ago. Been there. Whatever it is, today we're going to talk about letting go. Not just to let go, but to create space for what's next. It's the Aging with Grace and Style podcast where we embrace the next chapter of life with grace, style, confidence, humor, and a touch of sass. I'm so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to kick off this year with you. Letting go isn't easy. It's messy, it's emotional, and sometimes, let's be real, it's downright funny. I once held on to a kitchen gadget that I thought I'd use someday. Spoiler alert, I don't need a pasta maker to be happy. I am happy just using pasta from the box. But seriously, letting go is the first step to growth. So today, we're going to dive into what matters, how to do it, and what happens when we finally move forward. First, let's talk about why letting go is so hard. We hold on to things, to ideas, habits, even relationships that just because they feel safe. But here's the thing. Holding on to the wrong things keeps us from grabbing the right ones. It's like trying to carry all the groceries in one trip. Eventually, something's going to drop. When you let go, you make space for new opportunities, whether it's rediscovering your passions, finding new friendships, or just having the mental bandwidth to dream again. So let me tell you a story about my closet. So this past week, I decided it was time to tackle it. You know, one of those new year, new me moments. And let me tell you, it was a multi-day process. I stood there and stared at clothes that I hadn't worn in years. Some of them don't even fit. Some of them weren't even in style anymore. But could I let them go? Nope, not at first. I even found a jacket that I'm telling you I bought 10 years ago that still had the tags on it. Why was I holding on to it? Maybe I thought that I'd suddenly morph into the kind of person who wears blazers to the grocery store. The funny thing is, I know that I needed to get rid of this stuff, but something in me, it clung to it. Memories, guilt over money spent, or maybe just the idea that I might need it someday. Sound familiar? We do this with more than just clothes, don't we? When you let go, you make space for new opportunities, whether it's rediscovering your passions, finding new friendships, or just having the mental bandwidth to dream again. When you let go, you make space for new opportunities. So, how did I finally get rid of those clothes? I followed these same steps that I'm about to share with you. First, I identified what was holding me back. Those thoughts like, what if I lose weight? Y'all, I don't need to lose any more weight. Or, but I spent good money on this. Does that sound familiar? Then I got real about its impact. Every time I looked at that cluttered closet, I literally felt overwhelmed. And finally, I took action. I started pulling stuff out one piece at a time, asking myself, does this bring me joy? Or is it just taking up space? And here's the thing. We can do the same with our beliefs, our habits, or even our relationships. If something isn't serving you, it's time to take it off the hanger and let it go. So here are the 3 steps that you can take. Identify what's holding you back. Ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? Maybe it's guilt, fear, or just plain habit. Write it down because writing it on paper for me makes it real. And then number 2, get real about its impact. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow or is it keeping me stuck? Every time I looked at that cluttered closet, again, I felt overwhelmed. It wasn't serving me anymore. And three, start small. Take one small action, which is one piece at a time. I ask myself, does this bring me joy, or is it just taking up space? And let's be clear, if you're holding on to your kids' third grade art projects like somebody else I know, I'm not calling my own name, it's okay to snap a picture and just let those macaroni masterpieces go. So now that my closet is clean, I feel so much more liberated. I can actually see what I own, and getting dressed feels like a fresh start every day. It's the same in life. When you let go of the stuff that's weighing you down, you make space for clarity, for freedom, and for joy. Plus, now I have room for new clothes, which is always a bonus, but only things that I love this time. I'm not going back to the blazer for the grocery store mode. So what's in your life closet that you've been holding on to? Is it an old belief, a habit, or even a relationship that no longer fits? Take a moment to think about what you're ready to clear out this year. Okay, so we've talked about how to let go and why it's so important, but what happens when you finally release the things that are holding you back? Let me tell you, the other side of letting go can feel like a deep exhale, a kind of freedom that you didn't even know you needed. So when you let go of the old, you make room for the new. That's new dreams, new opportunities, and even new perspectives. Think about it. If you've spent years believing that you're too old to try something, imagine what's possible when you stop carrying that weight around. I had a friend who finally let go of the idea that she had to stay in the corporate job until retirement. She started a small business at 55, and now she's thriving, happier, and even feels 10 years younger. Letting go also gives you emotional freedom. When you stop replaying the past in your head and you start focusing on what's next, it's like cleaning a foggy windshield. You can finally see where you're going. So for me, letting go of being everything to everyone was a huge step. Now, I'm going to admit it's still a work in progress. And I'm having to learn that saying no isn't selfish, it's self care. And once I started that, I started to feel lighter, like I could finally breathe again. When you let go, you also get closer to the real you. So, how many of us have been holding on to someone else's expectations, whether it's family, society, or even your younger selves? When you let go, you show up as you. And that's when life really gets good. And let's be honest, you don't have to be perfect. I've let go of needing to wear makeup to every event. It turns out that sometimes a bare face and a great pair of earrings and some mascara, we can't leave out the mascara, it works wonders. I recently heard from a listener, we'll call her Diane, who told me that she had been holding on to the idea that her best years were behind her. She said that she stopped trying new things because she thought, what's the point? But after hearing about the power of letting go, she decided to take up painting again, something that she hadn't done in decades. She sent me a picture of her first painting, and let me tell you, it is beautiful. Not because it's perfect, but because it was her saying, I'm not done yet. So, what about you? What's one thing that you can let go of this year? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. Write it down, share it with me, or even just whisper it to yourself. And if you have a story like Diane's, then I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message. I might even share it on a future episode. So here's the truth about letting go. It's a gift that you give to yourself. It isn't about losing, it's about gaining. Gaining space, clarity, and the freedom to step into what's next for you. This year, I'm letting go of the need to have everything figured out. It's not going to be easy, but I need to do that. As you start this new year, remind yourself you are capable of letting go and you are worthy of what's waiting for you on the other side. I want to leave you with an affirmation. It's, I release what no longer serves me and make space for the joy, peace, and possibilities that await me. Repeat it as often as you need to this week and let it guide you as you take those small but powerful steps forward. Remember, you're not too old, it's not too late, and you're right where you need to be for a fresh start. And it's your time to shine. I'll see you next week. But until then, let's embrace this year with grace, style, the confidence to let go, and of course, a touch of sass.